Life's hard when you're a single mom. I fell pregnant when I was 16, and my daughter's father said he didn't want to be a parent so young, so he dumped me when I wouldn't have a termination. I dropped out of school when I had the baby. I called her Tamsin. It was tough taking care of her alone. She didn't seem like other children. She needed a lot of extra care. When she was 5, she was diagnosed with autism, which explained her behavior, but it didn't make things easier for me. I was 22, no college degree, no job, nothing. One day, I was looking through Craigslist for ways to make money. I found an ad which said, well off 45-year-old male looking for a lady that likes to be well treated. We can start with coffee and exchange resumes. Your time is valuable, and I'll make sure you don't feel undercompensated. Hoping for a drama-free, mutually beneficial arrangement. It was obvious he was looking for a sugar babe. I'd never seen myself dating an older guy, but I was struggling to find work and still take care of my daughter, so I decided to send him a message, even though there wasn't a photo so I could see what he looked like. As I got ready to meet him, I felt really nervous, but I told myself it was going to be fine. I was doing this to build a better life for Tamsin. We met at a Starbucks, and he said his name was Mark. He was nothing like I expected. He wasn't 45. He was in his 50s and overweight. Still, Mark was easy to talk to, so although I wasn't attracted to him, I figured we'd get on okay. His 2 kids were grown up, and he'd been divorced for years. At the end of our first date, he said, we should go out for dinner. I know a few good restaurants. I still wasn't sure I wanted a sugar daddy, but I said yes anyway. The restaurant we went to was incredible. My food cost over $100, and it tasted amazing. It was a nice place, but Mark was rather boring. I didn't really want to kiss him afterwards, but I did it anyway. Then he flew me and Tamsin first class to Hawaii. We stayed at a beautiful resort. It was lovely, but he spent so much money on me. I kind of felt guilty, like I owed him something, you know? Still, at least my money worries were over. Mark and I started seeing each other, but he didn't want us to move in together. Instead, he gave me a condo in the city and just came by whenever he wanted. He paid me a $6,000 monthly allowance. He even bought me a Lexus. I gotta admit, I loved my new life. I sent Tamsin to a private kindergarten and started taking some college courses. Finally, things were turning around for me. We dated for 2 years until he suddenly dropped me. I think he started seeing a younger woman, but all he said was, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna end this. I didn't argue. I mean, it wasn't like there was a ring on my finger, but suddenly I had nothing. I hadn't graduated yet, and I'd never had a job. Who was going to hire me? I was so desperate. I signed up for a Sugar Babe website. This time, it didn't go so well. I met up with this guy. Let's call him George. He was in his late 40s, and from the moment I met him, I had a bad feeling. I was too desperate to care, though, so I started dating him. He wasn't quite as rich as Mark, but at least he gave me enough money to stay in college. But he was always demanding. I came to see him whenever he wanted, and he asked where I'd been if I didn't show up straight away. If I went out with friends, he'd get really jealous. I felt like he wanted to control me. When he gave me an engagement ring after just 3 months, I knew I had to leave before I was in too deep. I texted him saying, sorry, but it won't work out. George went nuts. He came over and tried to break down my door. I had to call the cops to get him to leave. Yeah, he was a controlling maniac. I should never have started seeing him. In the end, I took out a big loan to finance my degree and cover my bills. But it was worth it. Now I'm working in an office with a stable salary, and I don't have to rely on a man to take care of me. Do I recommend finding a sugar daddy? Absolutely not. It's dangerous. A lot of those guys are troubled and just want to control the women they're with. But maybe, if I was having money problems, I'd do it again. You just don't know what's going to happen.